Hi there, welcome to I Alone Fly Tarot. I'm going to do a tarot card reading for Sagittarius energy, and we're going to read it from a couple different perspectives because it's not a personal reading. I don't know anything about your life. People have free will. Some people harness high vibe Sagittarius energy. Some people harness a more worldly, shadowy Sagittarius energy. We've all got lessons to learn, and shadowy Sagittarius can be that people have some more lessons to learn in life about how to work together with people in a just and fair and authentic and loving way. And some other people have wrapped their brain around life and they have learned some of those lessons that some other people haven't. And high vibe people are inspired to have hope and faith and belief in their dreams, and they're inspired to work through, the shadow nature can represent the things that manipulate us, and they're inspired to want to work through those things because they don't want their fear or their insecurity or their ego or their more codependent nature or their fear to keep manipulating them. So some people are inspired to work through those things, and some people either don't even want to see that they should work on those things, would choose to ignore them, or they're just not at that stage of life. Sometimes things have to happen in your life to kind of really make you question, what is my truth and why do I feel the way I feel? And then you do the inner work, And some people aren't there, and we just need to see the truth of it. High vibe energy is that the truth has set you free. Putting in the work and effort to be more independent, learning how to love and believe in yourself. And some other people aren't there yet. So, the overarching reason for the reading is the fear, which could be considered like a 8 or 9 of Swords energy. Family. Some people want these things of the world that they want. They could fear if they're ever going to have those things, or they just want to be in a relationship, and they could take action just to be in a relationship because they want to work together with other people. But the reason they might take the action is because, it's kind of like maybe getting in a relationship with someone who really isn't on the same page as you, but if you're kind of tipped out of balance and you're more in your fear and your insecurity or your ego or your competitive nature or codependent nature, they might get in a relationship anyway, even if the people aren't on the same page as them. The high vibe people want to be in community and relationship with other people too, but they don't want to repeat an old pattern. We've all been in certain types of relationships, and we've kind of learned lessons from those life experiences, and we don't want to invest in an illusion. High vibe people want to grow and heal and mature themselves, and they want to be in relationships with other people who are motivated to heal and grow and mature themselves. Not to be in a relationship just to make me feel better. It's good for my status. It's good for my image. It's good for money. We don't want to be with deceptive people. And some people are going to try to get people in relationships with them because they are deceptive. They have some ulterior purpose. Like, I want to get in a relationship, but I want to not change or heal or grow or mature myself, but this relationship is good for me, it benefits me in some way, but by the way, this is how I want to live life. I don't maybe have hope and faith and belief in love, or wanting to step outside my comfort zone. I want to be in a relationship, but this is the way I want to do it, where nobody changes, nobody heals, nobody grows, nobody matures himself. And even though it causes high vibe people mental conflict, they're listening to their intuition about who they should continue to invest time, energy, and effort into, and who they shouldn't. Sometimes some people can be afraid of detaching from certain people because we know they might go do something out of pride and ego or something, or lust or greed. It's kind of weird, right? That you might be in your ego. Like, I think maybe because of the way I view the person, maybe there are certain traits, qualities, characteristics that they would go get in a relationship right away. And that would bother me. Well, it's not a good reason to stay in a relationship because you're afraid the person you're in a relationship could easily maybe go find someone else. For other people, they're not getting in relationships with people because they do seem to be happy and they do seem to have healed and grown and they do seem to have looked at life from a higher perspective and they do seem to kind of be abundant within themselves and love and believe in themselves. And I don't know if I'm that type of person. I might like them. I might like to be in a relationship with them. And some people just don't love and believe in themselves yet. So that's kind of the overarching reason. Is our fear stopping us from getting in aligning with our more hopeful believing nature and people in our life who are loving and supportive and encouraging? Then there's other people that are going to get in relationships for the ego, the image, the codependency. So what's going on though in Sagittarius energy? We have letting go and peace. And the reason it came out is because of the planning and action card, which I kind of look at as kind of a Sagittarius energy of the Eight of Wands. High vibe people probably already know some people in their life who they thought they were going to have in their life long term, whether that's a sibling, a friend, or a romantic relationship. But they saw the truth that the people they were in relationship with are manipulative in some way, fearful, controlling, self-centered, something. And they don't want to keep moving forward with those type of people. They could be tempted to in the playing it safe card. Then I don't have to go find a new job, a new friend, a new relationship in the manifestation card. Maybe I should just play it safe. And we can all be tempted to do that. But there gets a point in time in our life where I just can't keep living my life the way I've been living it. I could know that the only reason I keep staying in this job or living my life this way is because of my fear. And I don't like my fear to manipulate me. So the high vibe people do this work within themselves to be inspired to work through those issues so they can free themselves from it. I want to feel at peace within myself. I want to feel balanced within myself. And if the way I'm viewing life, living life, treating myself, the people I'm hanging out with, I need to take the action to love and believe in myself, that I want to feel at peace within myself. And then we have the sacred temple, the decrease, and the angels of the four directions is why it came out. I do look at fire sign energy and the water sign energy also as listening to our intuition. Sagittarius is fire sign energy. And again, we all tap into Sagittarius energy in one of these ways, depending on how we harness it. But we all tap into Sagittarius energy, and we want to be in a relationship with people who are on the same page as us. And the high vibe people are doing this work within themselves. They know there's certain things they need to let go of. And they know they need to, love themselves. So the world, or the ground here, can represent our worldly nature, and the water in tarot kind of represents the emotional, intuitive, loving realm. The high vibe people know that if they don't learn to love and believe in themselves and wrap their brain around this game of life and offer themselves love and compassion and forgiveness, that things aren't probably going to work out the way they want. And if we want to manifest the things we want to manifest, it starts within ourselves. And it means we need to detach, in the decrease card, from some ways of viewing life, thinking, living, certain relationships that we might have to emotionally detach from, and listen to our intuition to guide us. And then we have the optimism, the loving man, new supportive connections, and the taking steps card. And even though, being brave doesn't mean like you have no fears or insecurities. That's part of being a human being, is that you have some fears, some insecurities, and some self-limiting beliefs. But the optimism card is that I have hope and faith and belief that life-giving energy, which wants people to give birth to new things, wants us to manifest these new things into reality, right? And have hope and faith and belief in our dreams, wants us to face our fears. We have this dualistic nature, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, the seeds of both planted within us. Which one will we choose? High vibe energy, represented by God, wants us to love and believe in ourselves, to appreciate what we bring to the table, to offer ourselves love and compassion and forgiveness, and to people in our past to free ourselves from it. High vibe energy is about, again, being independent. And I view this optimism card as kind of like a Nine of Pentacles card. Free yourself from the things that manipulate you, that keep you caught up in fear and insecurity and not appreciating yourself and buying into the illusion of the world. And then take action. So the feminine figures can talk about how we think and feel, and the masculine figures can represent the action that we take in the world. Emotionally, invest the time, energy, and effort to work through your fears and your insecurities and your self-limiting beliefs. Invest in loving yourself. It's like being a good mother, father, coach to yourself. Within yourself. To align with your hopeful, believing, loving nature. Again, we have free will. We can belittle and berate ourselves and insult ourselves and cut ourselves down every day. Great. There's all sorts of people in the world, that probably 50% of the people at any given moment, that would love to join into that bandwagon. Well, we don't control those people, but we're the manager of our life. We are the only human we have been given control over. How about we learn to love and believe in ourselves and align with our more hopeful, believing nature and become independent of our more fearful, insecure, belittling, and berating nature. And emotionally, we start taking these steps, choosing to align with our more hopeful, believing nature, increase to start treating ourselves with, like as if we were our own child. Because we do have our own inner child nature. We have our more immature nature too. Kind of like our more immature worldly nature that wants us to indulge it. We have free will. Which one are we going to indulge? I choose to align with my more hopeful, believing nature. I'm going to work through how my own shadow nature of fear and insecurity and all those things try to get me caught up in my head. And I'm going to take this time emotionally within myself to, because this card kind of reminds me of another deck that some of you might be familiar with. I don't remember the name of it, but it's called The Garden and the Gate, where we take this time to do this work within ourselves, to love and believe in ourselves, build ourselves back up again, nurture ourselves, love ourselves. And we listen to our intuition about when we're ready to manifest a new loving relationship again. And, to a lesson to learn in life, we can have fear because we tried to manifest with some other people in our life, right? And it didn't work out the way we wanted. Well, were we in more worldly, shadowy Sagittarius energy, where we kind of immature? Was our intuition telling us, I don't think you're on the right path. I think we should let this go. I don't think we should do this. But, us in our worldly nature, we want to go indulge in those things that we want, and we think, No, no, I'm not going to listen to my intuition. No, no, I want to do this. No, I think this will work out fine. And then it probably didn't work out the way we wanted because I think our intuition was given to us as a gift. It's like bats have sonar to navigate in the dark. Birds and butterflies know to fly to warmer climates when the weather changes. We have our intuition, but we have free will. And us, in our more worldly nature of self, I want what I want. Even though our intuition is like, I think something's wrong here. I don't know. I don't know. There's something. I don't know what it is, but I just kind of don't think there's something here. But, we wanted what we wanted. And we have lessons to learn in life. And we probably went and did it. And it probably didn't work out the way we wanted. We probably got ourselves in some relationships with some people that were happy we didn't listen to our intuition. Oh, did you get all caught up in your head? Have you not healed and learned how to love yourself? Perfect. Me neither. Let's date. Let's be friends. Let's get married. And then we could have gotten in relationships with some other people who are more about staying in their comfort zone and they really don't want to manifest from love. They could be manifesting more from or aligning with their more worldly egoic nature. I don't want to take a risk. And, if we do love, we take a risk of being hurt. And sometimes we get in relationships with people, you can be a very loving person. Other people might want to manifest with you, whether you're a male or a female, but they might be someone who's like, oh, because you have some lessons to learn and you might have some fears and insecurities of your own about if you'll find someone, the right type of person to be in a relationship, or if your dreams will come into reality or whatever. Yeah, you should get in a relationship with me. But they have maybe a more worldly or self-focused or shadowy focused view of life and relationships where they don't take a risk to actually be more authentic and loving. It's kind of like you're in a relationship with their ego nature, their defensive nature to love and being hurt. They might seem very loving, they might be very encouraging in a lot of ways, and we're both trying to learn from each other, and in a lot of ways we could be on the same page on some things, but then when it kind of gets to where you're ready to move forward, kind of going to the next phase of a relationship, that's when we can kind of tell where we differ. Everybody can have some fears, but the high vibe people are like, I align with, in my free will, I chose to align with my more hopeful, believing nature and love and believing in myself and believing in my dreams. And the other person's like, I kind of align with my more worldly nature or defensive nature or something that, and that can be when we realize that we could be in a relationship with someone who harnesses these energies in a more worldly, shadowy way. They too probably had some things that didn't work out the way they wanted. And everybody can want to move forward in something else. I kind of look at the peace card as like the scales of justice. Well, that didn't work out. I left, they left, something we were not on the same page in some way. Well, now, we all want the justice we deserve, and we can all differ on what we think is just and fair and the dream relationship. And people have their different motivations as to why they get in relationships again. Some people, it could be more about ego and image and money and materialism. Maybe I lost some status or image, or I just lost a loving relationship. I want to get back in a relationship. But why? Well, because that other relationship didn't work out. That's why. I don't have the status, I don't think, or the resources, or I don't have someone in my life loving me, so I want to get in a relationship for maybe some of those reasons. It's like, I don't know that that's a good reason to get in a relationship. It should be, I have gotten to know you. I kind of think we're on the same page. Hopefully, both people would be people who it's like, with you, I think we're kind of on the same page. We're both willing to face some of our fears and insecurities of going on this new adventure. But we assume that both people are willing to give birth to something new. Like, well, let's not do it just like I did it in the last relationship. But sometimes some people do. Oh no, I have this way of being in relationships. That could be why some of the other people left. Do they harness shadowy Sagittarius energy? Are they immature? Are they always looking for the next best thing that they think is just and fair? Do they think it's just and fair to always be about themselves? Or if they say something's just and fair, other people should think it's just and fair? Are they full of themselves? Do they think other people should give up their dreams in order to be in a relationship with them? Because they think that they're all that in the world? We have to be willing to see the truth about why some things in the past didn't work out, why some relationships didn't work out. Did we have growing and healing and maturing to do? What about the type of people we got in relationship with? Did we get in relationships with people? Were we listening to our intuition? Did we get in relationships with people who seemed to be on the same page as us? Or did we get in a relationship even though we knew they weren't really on the same page as us? Immature, bossy, prideful, defensive, What kind of people did we get in a relationship with? Do we have different ideas of what drives and motivates us? The whole thing about the fear card is if we had lessons to learn and maybe we hadn't done already some of the inner work within ourselves, and again, sometimes we don't even know that we kind of have things maybe buried in our subconscious, or the sacred temple is kind of reminding me of Taurus Hierophant energy. We can all have these ways of viewing life, ways of viewing relationships, what we think is acceptable, not acceptable. Taurus energy kind of represents all the rules and regulations in our head, and all these things that kind of have been imprinted on us by our family and by the world and all those things. Some people, they kind of gave up on aligning with their more hopeful, believing nature. Oh no, that's scary. No, not doing that. They're going to move forward, making decisions more out of fear, insecurity, codependency. And I want to be in relationships. I'm not going to deal with the truth about my fears and my insecurities and my codependent nature. I just want to go get in another relationship. And for some people, they've already been in relationships with loving, hopeful, believing people. Some of them already know that isn't how they want to live their life, but it makes them look like they've moved on with the letting go card, that they've gotten the justice in the world. Look, I got in a relationship with another high vibe person. I created an illusion that I was high vibe. And look, I got myself in a relationship with another high vibe person. They're high vibe. They're someone who has learned a lot of lessons in life. They're giving, nurturing, warm, self-disciplined. I'm kind of aligned with my more shadowy nature. But I confuse them about the truth of who I am, and they're going to move forward with me in a relationship, so I look like I got it going on again. Or there is someone I could go get in a relationship with like that. Look, harnessing more shadowy, worldly Virgo energy. You don't have to be dealing with a Virgo. It's just how they harness this energy. In my more worldly view of life, look, I'm single. I'm going to go get in a relationship maybe with someone who's more loving and nurturing or mature than the last person I was in a relationship with. Oh my gosh, this is going to be great. It's going to look like I'm moving forward in the world, you know. But I'm fearful if they're going to want me to do love. And they could have gotten out of some of the relationships they were in before because the people in their life wanted them to be more authentic or warm or loving, you know? And they're like, I think I'll just go try to manipulate a different loving person who doesn't know the truth of who I am. And at least until they see the truth, man, this will look good for me, male or female, until they find out I'm immature, until they find out I'm bossy, until they find out that I have a lot of fears and insecurities and I might act like a private detective in a relationship, that I'm very competitive maybe, and I might do things behind their back. I might be an immature player. I might cheat on them, but I might just do things to try to not have people in my life view them accurately. Because when this person finds out that I'm not who I say I am and they move on from me, I don't want people to know that I'm not willing to deal with any of my inner issues. So in the meantime, while we're in a relationship, I'm going to kind of belittle them and berate them and kind of gossip about them in a shadowy way so that when they do leave, you know, that people will view them negatively and justice will go in my favor. Because some people that are more worldly ego focused, you know, what they're counting on for people to be in relationship with them is their ego and their image and their status that they've kind of cultivated. Other people are an authentic human being who it's like, you know, I'm a human being who's made mistakes. I've had lessons learned. I've grown and matured myself. And other people are quite immature, but they're trying to act like they're a much more mature person in the world. I mean, it could be someone who's, you know, somewhere between like 30 and 60 years old even, but they have like an emotional maturity, I don't know, like a 21-year-old. And so they're older than their emotional age. And so it could be very important to them how people perceive them. And they know probably sooner or later, if they have a high vibe, loving, nurturing person in their life, that odds are eventually those people might leave because they know themselves and they know that they're not who they present themselves as. And I think the whole time that they're in relationships, they're fearful and afraid that the people they're in relationships with are going to see the truth, that they have all these issues they don't ever deal with. Or that they are the deception card, kind of being like the Seven of Swords, Aquarius card, can be that these people are more in it for the ego and the image and the status or the clout or the money or materialism, and that they never do plan to be more independent and free of, to go to the next phase of life anyway. It's kind of like they could be more emotionally shallow and superficial, kind of harnessing a more shadowy Scorpio emotional nature. And as long as everybody buys into the illusion of who they are, not seeing the truth of who they are, then everything goes along great. The problem is when the people they're in a relationship with do some inner work within themselves to work through some of their own fears and insecurities and self-limiting beliefs, because they're not going to be the same person that they were before. They drop some baggage, they work through some things, right? And they let go of some things that were stopping them from maybe being more authentically themselves, more free to live their authentic life. And then when they do that, they've changed. They're not the same person they were before. But some of these other people, though, they never work through those issues that they have. So other people are changing, healing, growing, facing their fears to go to like the next phase of life. And the other people are like, oh shit, they changed. Oh gosh, they freed themselves from some of the things that could have manipulated both of us. But they did the work within themselves to shed in the decrease card some of those ways of viewing life or living life or viewing life or these things that used to manipulate them. But those things could still manipulate the other people. And that can be where we have a problem, because one person really is kind of looking at life from a higher perspective, having some more hope and faith and belief in themselves and in life, and expanded their perception of how they view themselves and the world, and the other person hasn't. And that also can kick up people's shadow nature, which is like competitive energy, envy, jealousy. And they could have a lot of fear of stepping out of their comfort zone and doing this work to offer themselves love and compassion and forgiveness to deal with whatever it is that manipulates them. And we kind of realize we're on different pages, and the high vibe people want to move forward with people who are on the same page as them, and the people who aren't ready to move forward in life differently kind of want to be in a relationship with people who are still on the same page as them. But the people who are more about ego and image and money and materialism might not want to tell the truth about why they don't want to move forward with these people, because of course they want people to view them as someone who harnesses high vibe energy. But they have high vibe people in their life, but they're not willing to do the inner work to move forward with them in that way. So that's when, you know, they might get caught up in their head, their fears, their insecurities. Oh my gosh, this person's going to leave me. Oh my gosh, this person, I think they're great. I think they're wonderful. Anybody could want to be in a relationship with them. You know, so it could even just be their own lack of self-worth. Or it could be, gee, I find you to be a really loving person, and in a way it'd be great to keep moving forward with you, but I am more about ego and image and money and materialism, and I don't know if we'll have those things if I stay in a relationship with you or as much as I want. And this does take work and effort. I do have to keep growing or healing and maturing myself. And I've kind of gotten to a point where I really would have to deal with some core issues. And that's just not something I want to tackle or even maybe deal with or acknowledge. You know, I think I can go find someone else to be in a relationship with. Or I want the high vibe people to quit doing what they're doing. And I might do some things to instill fear and insecurity in them. I might kind of emotionally detach myself. I might quit emotionally investing in them. I might kind of go invest in these other people and things in the world, because I want the loving person in my life to be afraid that I could go find someone else to be in a relationship with or other things to do. And I want to get them in codependent energy. I want them to stop healing and growing and maturing and loving themselves. I want them to stay right here and do the relationship the way I want them to do it. You know, loving people can put a lot of work and effort into trying to make a relationship work. Because, you know, it's just human nature. If we get a job, we have a friend, we're in a romantic relationship, we would like those things to work. Instead of having to go find a new job, a new friend, a new romantic relationship. But eventually, the high vibe people kind of can't ignore it anymore. These people that, some of the people in my life that I could be in a relationship with seem to be doing things that are hurtful and unkind and intimidating and controlling. And, you know, loving people are supposed to be loving. People who want to be just and fair are supposed to be just and fair. And people who I thought acted with character and integrity are supposed to act with character and integrity. And I'm thinking the person I'm in a relationship with is not that. And then we have to deal with our own fears about working through our own mental conflict of detaching from some people that we thought were going to be in our life long term, to distance ourselves from them, kind of like an Eight of Wands card of Sagittarius energy, to deal with my, what is my dream, and deal with my own mental conflict about my fears of becoming independent of this dream that doesn't seem to be aligned with my truth, to face my fears of moving forward. And then we battle within ourselves. Should I just stay here, or do I love and believe in myself to believe that I deserve to be in a relationship with people who really are motivated and inspired by love, not people who try to present to the world that they're loving people, or people who seem to want me to stay in the relationship, and they'd stay in the relationship, but it's more for the ego or the image or the codependency. And I've had people, again, don't want to stay in a relationship for those reasons. So they probably offer love and encouragement to the people they're in relationship with them to try to get them to move forward with them in this way. Maybe being very patient. But eventually, with the manifestation in the love card, is kind of seeing my dreams aren't going to come into reality here. The way this person wants to live their life in their free will seems to be different than how I want to live my life. What they could think is just and fair, I don't think is just and fair. The idea of the dream life or the dream relationship that they have is different than my idea of the dream life and the dream relationship. And they could have some ways of being, people in their life, the world, that kind of have a hold on them. That they're not, and it can just be their ego in the world, or their immature nature, or their defensive nature, that they're not willing to become independent of, to go on this journey with me where we can create something new together. They're repeating an old pattern because of things that manipulate them, or people in their life, or other things. And then they want me to stay in relationship with them and basically let those things manipulate me, but those things or those people don't manipulate me. They might not know their worth and value, or want to be more independent in the world to live their more authentic life. But I don't like having things manipulate me. And until they work through those issues to become free of them, whether that's their defensive nature, whether it's conforming to the world and making their life about these more superficial, shallow things than love, or work through their fear, or work through their defensive nature, or whatever, I'm going to wish them love, but I'm going to distance myself from them. And I'm going to go invest in the people in the world who I think are more on the same page as me. If that's just in enjoying my friends or family, I'm not going to stay in a relationship with someone who wants me. Shadowy energy is about those things that limit us, oppress us, confine us, restrict us, imprison us. And we're meant to live our authentic life. We're meant to, from a place of love, treat other people with love, treat people the way we like to be treated, to live our truth. And some people don't live their truth, and they're not in the friendships and the relationships with people that they even could love, and that love and encourage them to be all they can be, or in career fields that they love, because it's all about this, having this certain status or image, or how people view you. And they kind of sacrifice their dreams and being more authentically themselves and independent in the world to conform to the world. And there's that Bible verse Don't conform to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And, we're also not supposed to be imprisoned by our emotions, our lust, our greed, our mind, our fear. We are meant to master them, and we have free will what thoughts and emotions and things we take action on. Otherwise, those things will run our life. We offer love and truth and compassion and forgiveness to our fears, to love our more worldly, immature nature, like, again, being a good parent to ourselves, to temper our fears and our insecurities and our self-limiting beliefs, to move forward in a hopeful, inspiring, loving family, like within ourself, so that we can overcome those things that try to deceive us, and to keep manifesting in truth and love and intuition. So I think high vibe people that have been in relationships with some people like that, they're doing this work within themselves. They've learned, if I take action more out of pride or ego or immaturity or lust or greed or whatever, I'm kind of going to learn some hard lessons again. I'm kind of tired of learning the hard lessons. I've been there. I've done that. Okay, so if there's people who are defensive and I'm not a defensive person, and I want to be with a more nurturing, loving, independent, warm, giving person who's dealt with their fears and insecurities, then I'm not going to invest much time, energy, and effort into people who don't seem to be in that energy. Check, 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 check. I'm going to love myself to know my own worth and value. Invest in enjoying my life, investing in my own unique talent, skills, and interest in my career. Our sexual energy is like our life force energy. I have a lot of other things I can channel my energy into than being in a romantic relationship, and I'm not going to settle for being in a relationship with someone who's not being authentic or honest, or they're egotistical, or they're self-centered, or they're fearful, or they're insecure. Until they free themselves from those things, I'm going to go enjoy my life and, manifest and work with the people that work with me in a just and fair and authentic and loving way. And some of the people who have some high vibe people in their life know that. And they know that if they want to be in a relationship with you, that they would have to do this work within themselves to figure out why I have the free will to manifest whatever I want to manifest. Why, and to align with. Why do I choose this versus that? Why do I choose to stay in my defensive nature, or my immature nature, or my bossy? What is this fear? It could be some people, they're afraid of being deceived. So they could stay in relationships with people who they think aren't going anywhere. Oh, you have a lot of fear of loving and believing yourself? Perfect. Let's get married. Oh, do you wear a false mask too? You're not really authentically yourself? Cool, me neither. Let's get married. Let's date. Oh, do you kind of like to use your things of the world to get people to be in a relationship with you because you don't really like to do love either? Perfect. Let's get in a relationship. Let's get married. Some people know that's the type of person they are. Some of them could be moving forward in a relationship because they know that the loving people in their life are these loving people. And that odds are those people are going to find the people that are on the same page as them, that do have hope and faith and belief in their dreams. And they want to look like they're that same type of person too, because they know that's what high vibe people would manifest and could manifest or are manifesting. Some of you have already moved on in new relationships. Some of you are just at the stage where you're ready to make offers to people to get in a relationship with you. Some of you already made offers to people. The people in your life that are working together with you in your life are the people who are doing this work within themselves to keep letting love and intuition guide them to not get up in their head and their fears and insecurities where they could sabotage this relationship by turning their back on love. Like, no, it's more about me, or I think you should indulge me, or I want to be immature today. The people that are working together with you, that have the same dream that you have, everybody takes responsibility for dealing with their own inner issues. And the people that aren't in your life, they either have these type of loving relationships with other people that they're doing this work with, or there's always people that were just not really on the same page and they're doing this work just within themselves. And it's like, nope, sorry, you're not, we all know people, and just like we feel that way to other people and other people feel that way to us, something just doesn't click. You might like me to date you. I might like you to date me, but, we're on different pages and, but they could be lovely people. But then we also know some other people that we know just like to go indulge themselves in relationships, maybe. Either don't want to be in a more formal relationship, or even if they do get in it, it's kind of for ulterior purposes instead of love. And some people are just doing it because they're afraid someone else is going to get in a relationship. And that would definitely be an immature person who's operating more from their ego. And who wants to be the person who's in a relationship with them just because, well, I'm afraid the person I was in a relationship is going to get in a relationship, so I'm going to date you or get in a more formal commitment with you. It's like, lovely. So we've got to be aware of that, because even as we're moving forward, there's other people in the world who are kind of in shadowy energy that they feel they're worried about someone else they were in a relationship with. That's why in high vibe Virgo energy, we can offer, treat other people the way we will like to be treated, treat people with respect, get to know people. But, it could be really kind of getting to know people to figure out what drives and motivates them, what their dreams are. And after we've done that, we decide if there's someone we want to keep moving forward with and get in a more involved relationship with or not. So, what's coming up for the people who harness some high vibe Sagittarius energy that they might not see coming up? We have a card that flipped in the middle of the deck. So we have the Strength card, and the reason it came out is because of the Two of Cups and the Queen of Wands. So the Strength card and the Queen of Wands, I view both as Leo energy. The high vibe people are harnessing high vibe Leo energy, where you temper your more beastly nature, your more shadowy, immature, me, worldly, selfish, whatever nature. And part of what could have triggered you to do that is because you'd gotten in a relationship with someone who harnessed more shadowy energy, or the people you were in a relationship align with people and within themselves with their more worldly, shadowy Leo energy. And you didn't want to keep being in a relationship with someone who's operating more from that foundation. If we want to build a solid, stable foundation, we both have to be building it from the same foundation of love. But we could have gotten in relationships with people where it is more about the ego or the image or fear or insecurity or codependency. And it's like, the reason why we take action and certain actions in life is because of our underlying philosophy of life and how we view life. And you view life differently than me. You're either still operating from your ego or being full of yourself or about the world or something, but I've tempered my more worldly, egoic nature. Maybe I've just learned some lessons in life about that I think are a more just and fair way to treat people in a relationship, and maybe the way what you think is just and fair in a relationship is different than what I think. And so we're just on different pages in how we're motivated and inspired, kind of, in our Leo energy. Let's see, what's the opposite of Sagittarius? No, it's not Leo. But it can be what our truth is. The opposite sign of Sagittarius is Gemini. And Gemini does have to do with us picking a choice of how we're going to live our life. What foundation? Growing up and maturing ourselves and learning lessons in life, getting out of our ego, or aligning with our ego nature. The high vibe people are aligning with these energies in a high vibe way, and the shadowy people are aligning with it in a more worldly, shadowy way. And again, we can have fear of moving forward in life differently, getting that new job, getting in those new relationships. But we do this work to love and believe in ourselves, that we deserve to be in loving, supportive, encouraging environments. And when we're ready, we take that action to communicate to the different people in the world of how we're looking to move forward. We temper our ego. And as you do this, you will feel more and more strong and brave within yourself, because you keep emotionally investing in choosing to be in life-giving energy of hope and faith and belief and love, and tempering your fears and your insecurities. And as you do that, you keep getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And as you do that, there's going to be other people who see that you are doing that. Some of them will be in shadowy energy. We live in a world of duality. You have to be given free will choice. There's going to be some people that are like, hey, it would look victorious and successful. Like, I want to be the next person to indulge in a relationship with you. And I think you'll temper your more worldly nature, because there could definitely be people who shine bright in the world, are attractive, blah, blah. But it's like, if my intuition tells me that we're really not motivated and inspired by the same thing, and I feel like you're tempting me more in my ego versus high vibe Leo is being authentic, revealing the truth, being warm, being nurturing, being encouraging, being inspired. Other people who have tempered their egoic nature, and you'll listen to your intuition about who's who. And other people see that that's how you're living your life, and other people are going to want to hire you, be friends with you, be in romantic relationships with you. Some of those people are doing this work within themselves. They have to look at life from a higher perspective. They maybe have to change their idea of what it means to be in a relationship, or maybe they wanted to just stay single, kind of not make a more formal commitment. And they could know if they want to be in a relationship with you, they have to make a more formal commitment. You're not going to indulge someone in a relationship. And other people would love to move forward with you, but they know they got some issues that you've maybe already seen the truth of, illuminated to the truth of. So they're going to go try to move forward with someone else. Probably, you know, they maybe haven't grown or healed or matured themselves through the issue of whatever you saw the truth of. And they'll probably repeat that same way of being in the next relationship eventually. Oh, did you notice I had one light bulb that was kind of burnt out? The light came on. It's like, you know, this pattern will keep repeating for people if they're not willing to deal with the truth. And some people will keep repeating this pattern over and over because they want to keep moving forward in relationships in this more shadowy Aquarius energy. More about the ego or the image, or in their egotistical, narcissistic way of life or something, where they could have this view of relationships where, because they could have some certain traits or characteristics or assets in the world, they could have this view of life that people should indulge them in a relationship, even if they kind of have these shadowy traits and characteristics. And there'll probably be people who are willing to indulge them. It just won't be some of the high vibe people in their life. Okay, what's coming up for the people who harness a more worldly, shadowy Sagittarius that they don't see coming? The Three of Pentacles in reverse because of the Eight of Cups. Some of the people that have either been kind of full of themselves or acting in these kind of shadowy ways, yes, they could have had some loving people in their life that kept putting in work and effort. High vibe Sag is about trying to offer people love and encouragement to love and believe in themselves, to bring this dream into reality. But there comes a point in time where people are like, I'm done. I'm no longer going to work together with you in this relationship. Why? Because apparently the Eight of Cups walks away from the Seven of Cups, which is also Scorpio energy. Emotionally, one person could be more caught up in the things of the world. That's what they love, or they love themselves more to the exclusion of working cooperatively with people, or they're more emotionally shallow or superficial, or they got all these fears and insecurities that they keep buried beneath the surface. Or they're just people who are caught up in the illusion of the world, have illusions about what it means to be in relationships, try to emotionally confuse people about the truth of who they really are. And the other people are like, I'm moving forward. I want my dreams to come into reality. The Eight of Cups is walking to the Nine of Cups. I want to feel and be respected for being my own unique individual with my own dreams. My life is not just about you. We all have our dreams and we work together for a common goal, but we each have our own individual life still. And I want to be happy, and I want to work with other people who are more emotionally independent instead of codependent. And I see that you're not willing to move forward with me in that way. There's things that you're not willing to become emotionally independent of. If that's your fear, if it's your ego, if it's other people in your life, if it's your family, your original family, if it's ego and image, if that's what makes you happy, go live your life. That isn't what makes me happy. I'm not caught up in the illusion. We all want these things of the world, but I'm not willing to sacrifice like an authentic, warm, deep, meaningful relationship to have those things in my life. And some other people are. It's like, well, if you're willing to sacrifice your dreams and deep, meaningful, loving relationships and stay in your fear, your insecurity, or your pride, or your ego, or whatever, you do you, boo. Free will, man. Enjoy your life. And some of these shadowy people never thought some of the people in their life would emotionally distance themselves from them because they could know those people love them. And sometimes some shadowy people try to use the love that we have for them to manipulate us. Oh, you won't go. I know you have fear of getting another job or finding another friend or getting in another relationship. I know you want this relationship to work. I'm sure I can do whatever I want, be immature, be prideful, be stubborn, go do whatever I want to go indulge in. I'm sure you'll just stay there. And for a long time, people could have, but eventually Judgment Day comes, it's like, I'm done. I no longer can stay in denial of the truth. This is dead. And I don't choose to live my life in stagnant, dead energy with people who are unwilling to get out of their ego or their fear or their insecurity or whatever other shadowy nature they have. I'm going to go be happy without you. And I'm going to face my own fears, and I'm going to do this work within myself to not get up in my head about whatever you might choose to go do, because I know the truth of who you are. And someone else can enjoy being in a relationship with you because I know the truth of who you are. Odds are, if they had loving, encouraging people in their life and they weren't willing to do the work within themselves to work through those issues, you know, then maybe I wasn't the person for you, but odds are they'll probably never deal with it. Another thing they might not see coming, some of these people went on and decided, you know, this isn't my truth either. I know you're motivated and inspired by what you're motivated by. That isn't how I want to live my life. I want to live my life like this. And they could have went and presented themselves as a loving person to someone. Again, they might have thought that person is someone like them who also maybe is more about the world, really doesn't want to do love, kind of likes to live life a certain way. For some of them, that person walked away. Because the whole thing is, if we had loving, encouraging people in our life that were willing to work with us and we pushed them away, well, we have some lessons to learn, right? Guess who's coming up to bat next? Someone who's probably going to come into our life to teach us a hard lesson that you didn't listen to your intuition. Why did you want to go get in a relationship with these other people? Well, because I didn't want to deal with my issues, or because I'm more materialistic, or because I like to be in relationships with people who are, I think, are fearful and codependent. Well, if those people, you know, because they can not be reading people correctly, even if they went to go get in a relationship with someone who they thought was on the same page as them, maybe that person just got in a relationship with them for ego or image or status, made them look like a shining star. Oh, but did you want me to change or grow or heal? No. You know, so then they kind of get in a relationship with someone who's just like themselves, and then we could have two people that are kind of stubborn, prideful, bossy, like people to indulge them, don't temper their ego, try to control other people, try to manipulate other people. And both people who are kind of like that kind of want to be in relationships with someone who they feel they can manipulate and control. But if they're both people who try to manipulate and control people, well, that's a problem. And that person could have left to go find someone else who they thought had mental conflict, that they thought would indulge them more, being the more person who has the scales tipped in their favor. And, you know, it's hard to find people who are on the same page as us. It's harder yet if you're trying to find people who are kind of defensive or prideful or bossy or controlling or whatever, and you're that way too, and you're going to try to work with them. So, and then the other thing is, people learn lessons in life, and as other people go through relationships, they have learned these lessons, and they've learned to listen to their intuition more, and they've healed and grown and matured themselves. And some of these people are going out there in the world trying to repeat an old way of living life. It's kind of like a 40-year-old trying to go back and live life like a 21-year-old, and that might be their emotional level of life. But it's hard for them, if they're going to date other people who are 40 years old, to try to find someone else who has like a 21-year-old view of life. That isn't like, hey, wait a minute, you know, I've kind of dated people like you before, and I don't think you're being honest. And I've also learned to listen to my intuition. I might be kind of got some shadowy traits too, but I've at least learned some lessons in life. And it's like these people who stay stuck in a time warp, it's like them trying to find someone else who's stuck in a time warp. And it's like other people kind of grew and healed and matured themselves and learned lessons in life. And these people have wanted some of them to stay in denial and not want, you know, it's like trying to find people who haven't learned lessons about people like them. Well, we were all young and naive and gullible when we were young. But, you know, unless people are 21 or 25, you know, people have learned some lessons and have some experience under their belt. And not everybody's going to want to put up with this more immature way of being in a relationship. But they also might find someone who maybe doesn't want a more formal commitment, that is willing to indulge them. Maybe kind of be, let's both not do a more formal commitment. I'm just saying that because this card could mean single, and then shadowy Sagittarius can be like a player. It's like, hey, I don't want to do that either. Let's just go enjoy life. But the thing is, you know, if people really were, I think, love someone and really appreciate someone, they would want some degree of a more formal commitment. And sometimes if people aren't willing to do that, it is because they might have some shadowy traits and characteristics. They could be hoping it's bothering someone else that really is the person they want to be in a relationship with, and hoping that person eventually things won't work out for them or something, and they'll come back and get in a relationship with them. Or it is kind of like, as long as it works for me and it's good for my ego or my image, or you're indulging me the way I want you to. But if you're not, or I see someone else with more status, more image, more money, someone who I think would indulge me more, then, you know, people aren't in the relationship for love. And, you know, it's kind of like, kind of being more just about themselves. And if people aren't willing to make, you know, it's one thing, let's be friends and we'll be friends all our life. It's another thing to be in an intimate relationship with someone who doesn't think they want to be in a more formal commitment, of however you want to view that, you know. So I don't know, but that's for everybody to decide. I mean, I haven't decided myself what I think about, you know. But I would just think that if people really love each other, I don't know. I know I have a relative that's going to do a commitment ceremony instead of, I mean, getting the legal system involved. But anyway, there you go, Sagittarius. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.